Hello Delaware Food Pharmacy families. Thank you for joining us for another DASH Diet video. My name is Shannon and I'm a registered diet technician and chef. Today we're making ground turkey bolognese. Bolognese is typically made with ground beef and is considered a meat sauce, but we will make it just as tasty with ground turkey. Celery, onions, and carrots. This is known in France as a mirepoix. It's a foundation for a lot of different soups and stews, and almost every culture has one. I know in the past we've talked about the Trinity, and that's with like peppers and onions, and I think again celery. But for bolognese, this is actually the same foundation. Bolognese is by no means French; it is Italian. So we're going to dice these and we're actually going to make them pretty small. So you don't want chunks of these. You want to cut them down to almost like a mince. So with our carrots, our celery, I'll cut off the bottom and I will cut off the top. And I'm actually just going to work on making these thinner and pretty stable. So maybe 3, maybe 4, because that looks a little thick there. Pre-washed, of course. I already washed these. And this doesn't have to be perfect. Like again, there's no like chopping police that's gonna come over to your house and be like, that's not small enough. But it should be pretty small. Okay. You cut these down. And we're gonna do the same things to the carrots and the onion. Teeny, tiny pieces. And with everything, just watch what you're doing. Take your time. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for our carrots. Carrots are a little bit more unstable. So cut off the top, cut them in the bottom, and because of sometimes their shape or the length, I actually cut them in half. Just makes them a little bit more manageable to cut down. Okay. And you can cut them in half like this to make them flat and then go from there. I find that way to be the easiest. Some people come on top and come down here to get thinner strips. But it's always going to be your comfort level, like what you feel is best. All right. But again, we're going for a mince. So we're going to cut these guys down pretty small. And to be fair, honest, I didn't even know that this was the base of bolognese. I thought it was just like a meat sauce. So when I learned, I was really surprised. I was like, oh, it has all those things in it. That's why it never tasted right when I thought it was just ground beef in my red sauce. And then the same thing with your, definitely want to take the sticker off, but the same thing with your onion. We're going to dice down to be pretty small. So we'll take the skin off. And usually, again, for onions, I try to leave the bottom on it. Just makes the whole thing hold together better. Onions are always what I do last, so that when I start crying, I don't have to cut anything else. This has been sitting in the refrigerator, so not too bad. Okay. Alright, we'll make these hopefully as small as possible, but again, very easy to make smaller if we need to. No onion, please. We'll add this all into our bowl of celery, onions, and carrots. Looks a little bit messy here, but that's usually how it looks when I cook. A little messy. Okay, they're all in there together. For the bolognese, we're going to have to saute these down. I'm going to chop a little garlic and add that into it. So this is kind of it for the chopping section. So we'll make the magic happen and move the webcam over to the other side. So I've got my pan nice and hot. Again, light olive oil, and I've actually already got my spaghetti going here in the bigger pot. Needs a little bit more time. But bolognese pairs well with spaghetti or rigatoni. You can do, again, anything you want with it. It's usually a hit with the kids. It's very traditional. Because we're using turkey, we got gloves. Got fancy here. the food pharmacy. But it's just nicer because then I don't worry about cross-contamination as much. And I do want to sort of already break it up. We need to make sure that we're breaking this up as we go. And I like to use plastic because, again, I use non-stick. So we have to keep kind of chopping it. Some people do it in the same pan as the sauce, but I'm really paranoid about undercooked turkey. Okay? Undercooked meat, fine. Undercooked turkey or turkey, it hurts. Or chickens, not good. Okay? I add oil to this, and I'm actually going to add some Italian seasonings right into the meat. Turkey's a little bit more dry, so whatever we can do to help it, we'll help it. Okay, so our ground turkey's looking pretty good, nice and brown. We're going to set it aside. Our pasta is set aside. I know it's a lot of components. Again, it's just my fear of foodborne illness. And then we'll set our big pot on the heat to get hot for the vegetables. So my pan is nice and hot. We're going to add in that mirepoix, which again is the carrots, celery, and onion. And I just put the garlic right in there. I don't know how many times I've told you I just burn it if I don't. And this is pretty hot, so it's going to go quickly. And we're going to want some of these to get a little bit like caramelized, maybe. Okay. And we're going to add in, again, some low sodium chicken stock. And I actually had just the grocery store brand of white cooking wine. That's obviously optional. You don't have to add it in. Or if you have other cooking wine you want to add in or other wine, you can. But just, this is what I use. Okay. Ready. It does smell good. I know you can't smell through the screen. Okay. So they get kind of cooked down. We don't want them to be crunchy. All right, so some of the garlic at the bottom is starting to brown a bit, so we will add in our chicken stock. Ooh, okay. Glaze it. And we're actually going to add in our turkey. So this way we make sure that anything that might not have gotten cooked all the way, it's going to get cooked all the way. Okay, so we're going to add in some the jarred or the canned. This is just tomato sauce. And you can get low sodium, but just be aware that any sauce you're going to make yourself is going to have less than the jarred variety. We actually just checked because I wasn't completely confident on it, but like this has a lot. This is almost like half of what the jar kind has. So just kind of be aware that whatever you're making yourself is going to have less. So I'm going to add this in. Okay. Ta-da. I might need one of my spatulas for that. Hold on to this. Oh, do I have a new spatula to use? This one has Tiana on it. Only she's making beignets, and I'm not, unfortunately. All right. And we're almost there. I can't help myself. We'll mix it around, too. Okay. It's starting to smell nice, too. Okay. We'll let this cook a bit, and then we'll add in more seasonings. And now we will plate some up. My pasta is ready. It's in this giant, it's a lot of pasta. So we'll just kind of spin some. Hope I don't get giant clumps of things. Ooh, spin some right here. Okay, right in the center. It looks nice. Okay. And then I have my my soup ladle out so that I can pour some of the sauce right on top. I'm probably gonna, oh, that's a decent idea. All right, I'm gonna pick this up so I don't make a mess, because trust me, I would make a mess. Okay, there's the sauce. And pour it right on top. It's beautiful. Like looking in the mirror. Okay, and I like a little bit of Parmesan on top. This is up to you all, but sprinkling a little bit on top, maybe even a little bit of garnish with some more basil. But it looks nice. It's good.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. I hope it was helpful. In our next video, we'll be making another DASH diet recipe. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to your care team at Christiana Hospital.